This is an Evergreen Media Network studio production. Treasure Coast Connector. Connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. Treasure Coast Connector is the talk show and online community where we put a spotlight on interesting local businesses and resources, then connect them to you, the consumers in the community. Everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do. When we learn about what's happening in our own backyard and support local businesses, it strengthens our local economy. For details on the show, links to discounts, promos, past interviews, check out www.tcconnector.com. Now, brain, body, and mind health is important at any age, but when we get on in years, it is crucial because we want to enjoy our senior years and live vibrantly. Joining me in the studio today are Bill and Katharine White of Prime Brain, Body, Mind, 55+ers. I love that. Now, they help people 55 and beyond with longevity, optimization. So now what does that mean? It means helping their clients live the longest, healthiest, strongest, sharpest, happiest, and most connected and purposeful life possible. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I had to I'm like wiggling in my
Great
seat
job.
because you know what? I'll be 56 in June. I know, isn't it hard to believe?
Very hard to believe.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I met you guys at that farmer's market, I was like, give me your card. And then I'm like, you got to know this person and that person. And now you're here and we have so much to talk about and we're going to get right into it. So now what I would love to know, Mr. Bill, okay, so tell us about this new international organization. So this serves the 55 and older population in terms of optimizing longevity, anti-aging, total wellness. Tell us.
Well, yes, indeed. We do have an innovation that's called Prime Brain, Body, and Mind Performance Enhancement that will optimize longevity, anti-aging, and scientific wellness. And it does so using a triple set of all natural and non-medication innovations that allows us to influence healthcare at molecular, cellular, and organ systems levels. Mm-hmm. So we're very excited about that innovation. And the innovation itself actually includes 12 best practices that are scientific. They are jump-started by an activation science that also helps to enhance them. Mm-hmm. And then they are completed with what we refer to as a red, white, and blue zone change stabilizer. Mm-hmm. And that helps to maintain them long term, which is really where a lot of the action is at.
Yeah.
We want to not only support folks on these 12 best practices, but we want to powerfully activate how they engage with them and then be in the best position to sustain them long term.
Well, very good. So now, Katharine, the two of you, you and your husband, you are world-renowned clinical scientists. So I want people to understand that the depth and breadth of your education and your research is what has brought you here today, and you've been working with the Mayo Clinic. I mean, you've been published in journals. Yes. So now you're authors. So now why are you launching this business instead of saying we had a really good run, we helped a lot of people, but we're going to just sit on the beach? But you're not doing that.
No, we're not doing that because people need us. We have found that 95% of people have chronic illnesses that could be minimized, could be reversed if they got the right help, the right assistance. And 10% of people get preventative education. That's 10%.
That's way too small of a number.
Way too small. So we saw this need, and that's what our program fills, is that need.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So now...
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Before this, becoming clinical scientists, we were healthcare providers and prescribed medications for folks, and then ran hospitals. But we found that most folks were not getting healing health care. They were instead getting illness care provided to them.
Yeah.
And what science has now told us is that 10% of folks, or less than 10% of folks, get recommended preventative care for these diseases of aging. And now we've just discovered that 90 to 95% of these diseases of aging can be prevented and or minimized.
Right.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah.
You all saw that first slide that came out, perhaps, with me looking
I know. It's
pretty
amazing.
buff. And in fact, I'm now in the top 1 to 2% of physical shape.
Yeah.
Whereas at one time...
Yeah, that's a really great picture.
Whereas at one time,
You look
I
like a
had
bodybuilder
severe
there.
cardiovascular disease, was rushed to the emergency room, and the physician said, "You are the closest to a heart attack and stroke I've ever seen waiting to happen."
Oof. Okay. Yeah.
And now I'm in the top 1 to 2% and run jog in Florida's 95-degree heat. Not that we recommend that,
of course.
but indeed, it just shows you what this epigenetic innovation at a molecular, cellular, and organ systems level did for my heart. Just because it's so important to know that.
Willing, if I'm in my 80s or 90s, I don't want to be moaning and groaning every time I go to stand up or sit down. I want to do splits and cartwheels. Yeah. I don't know. I figure I'll just think big.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so now basic programs and services. So what can we expect to see from the two of you, and I guess the differentiators, because there's a lot of health and wellness programs out there, but you guys have science to back you up.
Yeah,
So-
I wanted to answer that
Yes.
by giving a couple of examples. One is a woman named Susan who came to us very depressed, very tired, had brain fog, memory challenges, and we worked with her and she woke up. She had more energy. She had less depression. She was clearer in her thinking and her memory was better as a result of the work we did with her. And another gentleman had diabetes out of control, had been told to do things differently and hadn't. And we told him he needed to make a lot of changes, but he needed an activator. So we asked him, "What do you need to help you change?" And he said, "I want to fall in love again." He was 75. And so we helped him with the best practices. He came around, his memory got better, his energy got better, his diabetes was in control, and he called us to tell us that he was in love again. And he felt much, much better. So those are examples of folks that we've worked with where we implement the best practices through a coaching approach and help people make changes that they haven't been able to make in the past.
Yeah, I love that so much. Now, there's a lot of wonderful programs, okay, and I have to read this because I want to make sure I get this right, because you are helping people to either prevent or minimize dementia and other common diseases of aging. And I do have to say that, you hit that mid-50s, and you start to think about these things and worry about these things. So there are people that are leaning. I could sense it, right, Cindy? There's like 6,000 people listening. They're leaning forward, going, "What is this?"
Yeah.
So please.
Well, indeed, the reason we selected 55+ers is because, well, we fit in that category,
Yes.
even though that might be hard to believe. But that is when things start to change and slow down a bit. It's called senescence, coming from one of the root terms of senile, that kind of thing. And cells and their molecular structures do begin to slow down, and we tend to see less new brain cells being formed, although with this new epigenetic approach, and we actually cut our teeth in the scientific world on this, and that's what that orange slide of the journal shows.
Yeah, that is the Alzheimer's and Dementia Journal. Journal of Alzheimer's Association that you were published in.
We were competitively selected to unveil our study in that journal and in London, England, at the Alzheimer's annual conference, based on the fact that we were able to, with a very at-risk population, reverse early dementia and mild cognitive impairment, and then unexpectedly also reverse clinical depression in the subjects that we treated to, if you will, an earlier version of our brain, body, and mind performance enhancement, really emphasizing the activation science component as well as exercise. So it was very, very exciting. And I should mention that with my own experience cardiovascular-wise.
Yeah, because that's scary too.
Very.
I did eventually find myself being tested, and I'm 15 years younger than my birth age. At least I was at one point.
Yeah.
I assume I'm actually younger than that these days, given some of what I've really taken on. But besides dementia prevention and minimization, we also have a concussion program for 55+ers, professional or weekend warriors.
Yeah.
Because we did write the 20-chapter book on concussion, which we think is the best that's been written so far. So we take care of those folks that are beginning to feel the brain fog after having concussions and getting older. Yeah. We also, on the body side, have the cardiovascular piece, of course, that we can drill down on. We also have specialty programs for the cancers, as well as diabetes. And diabetes has just been identified as a reversible disease. And I can remember type 2, that is.
Yeah,
and
I can
remember that, in fact, we've had several people who have begun to reverse their type 2 diabetes. So that's exciting. Mind-wise, we tend to focus a lot on stress management with folks.
Sure.
Because stress can be the thing that makes other body and mind and brain illnesses even worsen. So we're also focused on transition with folks, which can be really big after, of course, ages 55 plus.
Yeah.
And we also can, work with folks on any issue that might come up, including sadness, grief, loss, those kinds of things that are unfortunately
it does take a
prevalent.
toll on us. But you know what we have to do before Cindy throws something at me? We do have to take a break. But we could talk to you guys for hours, but we don't have that. But you know what? We'll do your contact information after the break because people need it, they want it, and you have to wait just a couple of moments. We'll be right back.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Hi, I'm Eric Flowers, your Indian River County Sheriff, and we are hiring immediately. Get involved in an exciting career and help your community thrive. Featured on Reels Channel's show On Patrol Live, the Indian River County Sheriff's Office is committed to keeping our neighborhoods safe. Open positions in law enforcement, dispatch, and corrections include benefits. Visit ircsheriff.org for more information. Get your new career started today.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs in all the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens and Bollywood. We specialize in fire pits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Family owned and operated since 1991. Don't forget to visit our outlet store directly across the street, filled with lots of name brand closeouts and sale items. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I've been chatting with Bill and Katharine White. They have this amazing practice. You guys are going to be so busy here. I honestly, because I've been connecting you to so many people, and the company, Prime Brain, Mind, Body, 55+ers, working with 55 and older people with the brain, the mind, and body health. And we're diving right back into this. But before we do, we have to have you say your contact information for those listening on iHeartRadio and the podcast. And could we put up that slide, Cindy, for us so that we can look at the contact information? Yep, here we go. So, Bill, is it okay if I read it out loud for you guys?
Please do.
Okay, so, Bill, your phone number, 401-447-1168, and it's bwhite at braininplay.com. Katharine, your number is 401-474-0092, and you with your email are KBirdWhite at gmail.com. So K is in Catherine, K is in kite, bird, white at gmail.com. You guys are going to get a lot of phone calls and emails because as we get older, and a lot of people have family members that were dealing with cardiac, they're dealing with diabetes, they're dealing with dementia, and then they're getting older and they're like, is that going to be me? I don't want that to be me. Yeah. And while we can't 100% prevent stuff, if they listen to what you guys are doing, that will help them maybe curtail something or lessen something.
Absolutely.
And with that said, how do you plan, and I have to look at this, to deliver? It's one-on-one, it's group and family coaching, and we're going to find out about coach-sulting. But how are you working with people?
Okay, I'm going to start with the end in mind, and that's coach-sulting. Coaching is partnering with an individual to help understand their motivations and their particular status as it relates to health in order to co-create a plan of health. Consulting has to do with actually telling people what to do. And that usually doesn't go too well.
I call it a come to Jesus moment. That's
but
what I say.
But at the same time, with consulting, it's educating people on what the science is behind all of these best practices. Yeah. And we do find that some people are very interested in learning, and some people are not. Yeah. However, coaching is a mechanism to determine what does motivate a person and to partner with them around that. One-on-one, we do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching that may include the family or maybe a group of people with like interests to help them improve their health together.
Very good. And you're working with people in person and over the phone and video, Zoom. Mm-hmm. So it is wherever an internet connection is involved and where someone seriously wants to up-level themselves.
Yes.
You're going to, okay, good.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to be very busy here, but you're going to be very busy everywhere else.
And we should tell you that we do plan to, at some point, develop a nonprofit subsidiary, our mission is to improve, and of course, healthily prolong and then safeguard the lives of clients that we serve. But we really would like this to be more of a movement at some point where we digitize everything so that people from England or New Zealand who are purchasing our concussion books can actually be in touch with some of the programs that we have to offer. And whether it's coach consulting, which is a form of consulting that's more, partnering with folks, or whether it's coaching, as Katharine says, we really want to educate folks and get folks really settled in on those 12 best practices that, again, can be really pumped up by the activation science and then sustained long term, because we can help people change, as I have experienced, their DNA to be positive and promoting optimized wellness versus disease. Now, when we work with organizations, we just align that mission I mentioned to the organizations that we work with.
And what kind of organizations would you like to work with? I know you've worked with the Mayo Clinic, but what other organizations would you like to work with?
Well, we've worked with thousands of patients at this point in independent and assisted livings, memory centers, senior daycares, wherever it is that folks are taking care of and helping those who are 55+ers / seniors, in order to be able to provide the best, most scientific care possible. Because we can help change lives and partner with folks to be able to do that through a consultative and a consulting process. Classic example. We went into one organization. It's one of the largest organizations in Rhode Island. The physician in charge who would come in to oversee nurse practitioners that were providing care said, "What happened? There must be a misprint this month. We only had 5 falls. We always have 35 falls a month." And they said, "Oops, it must be this group that's come in that's starting to get even a 102-year-old person on a recumbent bike so that they're able to improve their balance. They're getting stronger." And indeed, we were able to just help reduce falls. And I don't think I have to tell anybody how important that is with the elderly population. So less hips breaking. And we also saw a markedly increased cognitive functioning and interactive component happening with folks. So.
Well, I know a bunch of people in this industry, so we have just like a few seconds left. So what would you like to add about this?
I just wanted to add one thing, and that has to do with staff within these organizations need help too.
Sure.
And part of what we plan to offer is leadership development and staff engagement to help them support the programs that are going on for the patients themselves. We're really excited about that.
I love this so much. And the reason I asked about the organizations is because I know, that's why they call me the connector. We have 1 minute left. So I am just going to tell all the assisted living facility people and all the physical therapy people, I'm coming for you. I'm going to call you. So thank you so very much, truly.
And part of our movement will be to find those organizations that want to be identified worldwide as the very best that we can even help make better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So what I want to say, again, thank you. Your phones are going to be ringing off the hook. I have a lot of phone calls that I want to make on your behalf. And I want to say to everyone, get in touch with them to up-level and live vibrantly, robustly in your 55+ years. My name is Ellen Contreras. I'm the host of Treasure Coast Connector. Until next week, I miss you already.
Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah.